Would you believe me if I told you that in America, the land of opportunity, it's nearly impossible to survive on minimum wage? In fact, over 1 million Americans try every single day. But what does scraping by on $7.25 an hour really look like? Today, I put myself in those shoes. Stick around, because what I learned may just change the way you see our country forever. Hey everyone, welcome back to Factual America, where we break down the real stories happening right here in the USA. Today, I'm sharing my firsthand experience of living for 1 month on the federal minimum wage. That's right. For 30 days, I committed to earning and spending just $7.25 an hour, like millions of our neighbors across the nation. If you've ever wondered what minimum wage life is really like, the choices, the sacrifices, and honestly, the daily stress, this is the video to watch. Let's dive in. So, let's set the stage. The federal minimum wage in the United States has been $7.25 an hour since 2009. That's right. It hasn't gone up in over 15 years, while rent, food, and pretty much everything else has gotten more expensive. I gave myself one rule. I do my best to live exactly how tens of millions are forced to live daily. That meant working a typical minimum wage job, renting a modest apartment, and tracking every single penny. The very first challenge? Finding a place to stay. Nationwide, the average monthly rent for a one-bedroom apartment is now over $1,200. Minimum wage, full-time, 40 hours a week, earns you just about $160 before taxes each month. You see, the math doesn't add up. If I really stuck to the rules, the only way to not go broke in the first week was to look for shared housing. I ended up splitting a tiny, cramped apartment with 2 roommates I found online. My share? $500 a month. Barely affordable. But already, over 40% of my income was gone. Next up, finding work. I took a job at a major fast food chain, one of the largest minimum wage employers in the country. The work was relentless. 8-hour shifts on my feet, back-to-back orders, dealing with hungry customers, cleaning up afterward. It's physically and mentally taxing. There's no sugarcoating it. At the end of my first week, I was exhausted in a way I hadn't felt in years. Let's talk food. I set myself a grocery budget of $40 a week. Forget eating out or delivery, that was a luxury I couldn't afford. My shopping list became eggs, rice, pasta, beans, and the cheapest veggies I could find. No name brand cereal, no snacks, no lattes on the go. Every meal was planned, and hunger was a regular part of the day. Now, transport. Like many minimum wage earners, I didn't have a car. Too expensive. So, I relied completely on the bus. In my city, a monthly pass cost $60, which, after housing and food, left me with barely anything for emergencies or even basic necessities. Want to visit family? Too expensive. Need a new pair of shoes? Maybe next month. Every dollar required a debate. And then the unexpected hit, exactly as it does for millions of Americans. In week 2, my roommate's hours dropped, and she couldn't pay her share of utilities. Suddenly, we're facing a shut-off notice. Minimum wage leaves no buffer for real-life surprises. Each month is a tightrope walk, and one gust of wind can topple you into debt. Healthcare? Out of reach. When I caught a nasty cough, a doctor's visit was simply unaffordable. I bought some $5 cough syrup and hoped for the best. No regular checkups, no dental care, no prescriptions. That's the harsh reality. Get sick, and you risk losing your job, or worse. At the end of the month, I tallied my expenses: rent, food, transport, a few toiletries, and absolutely nothing left over. No savings, no opportunity to get ahead. I felt trapped, stuck in a cycle with no wiggle room. It's exhausting, both physically and mentally. But here's the twist most people don't realize. Nearly 2/3 of minimum wage workers aren't teenagers. They're adults. Many with families, even kids. Nearly half are women. And over 15 million children in America have at least one parent earning less than a living wage. Let that sink in. These aren't just starter jobs. For millions, this is life. So, what about the argument that working more hours or multiple jobs is the solution? The truth is, I tried it. I picked up a few extra evening shifts cleaning offices. My weekly pay did go up, but the trade-off was burnout. No time for friends, family, or even rest. And forget about furthering your education or escaping minimum wage. It's a never-ending grind. One of the most eye-opening moments came at the grocery store checkout. I was $4 over budget, and I had to put food back. The embarrassment was real, and so too was the realization, in America, hard work doesn't necessarily mean you can afford a decent life. Before I wrap up, let me hit you with some real numbers. In 2023, not a single state in the U.S. allows a minimum wage worker to afford a modest 2-bedroom apartment, working 40 hours a week, not one. And while some states have higher minimum wages, millions remain stuck at $7.25, right where it was in 2009. So, what's it really like to live on minimum wage in America? It's a daily struggle, survival, not living. It's making impossible choices between food and bills, working until you drop, and hoping nothing goes wrong because you have nothing to fall back on. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever had to live on minimum wage, or do you know someone who has? What was it like? Drop your experiences down in the comments below, and let's start a conversation. If you think more people need to know the reality behind the numbers, smash that like button, subscribe to Factual America, and share this video with your friends. Remember, the American dream is rooted in hard work and opportunity. But as I discovered, for millions, the dream feels out of reach when the numbers don't add up. Stay curious, stay compassionate, and keep seeking the real facts about America. This is Factual America, signing off.